Welcome everyone, today we have a very exciting Diablo 4 news digest. And in this video guys, there's a lot of things to talk about from the latest interview from the developers of Diablo 4. So looking behind me, you get to see some of the changes with seasons and also how the artists may be staying. So this is quite important, which carries over the seasons. And after that, we have more information on the secret cow level, and also more items were spotted by players about the ear in the game, which could be leading to the cow levels or maybe to the rogue. And of course, over here we also have interesting information about the level 100 boss, which will be available for launch for the players to challenge themselves. There's also information about the super rare uniques that can be possibly obtained through gambling. We talk about this as well, and also different methods of getting those items. We also have tons of information about the gear multipliers and also the special usage of the basic and also magical items, which can be amazingly good for the endgame. We talk about the possibility of rolling this one to get a skill level +4 on those gears to craft those into legendaries. So the developers are revealing a lot of method into playing the game, which I'm very excited about. And we also get to see the improvement to the UI and also an inventory for the gems, which is a really big plus. And there will be more future content to the endgame to come very soon. So coming over to our notes, a majority of the information and also the screenshots are coming from the latest interview with the Diablo 4 developers from Wowhead. So if you guys are interested, I'll have the whole article available for you guys, which is over here. I'll have the article available for you guys in the links below. And of course here we'll be summarizing what is in the interview and what are the highlights for Diablo 4. Now the first topic we're going to look into is going to be the Rhinos and also the Arteth of Lilith in each of the seasons. So one of the biggest concerns for a lot of players and myself included is that do you have to do all those things again and again with each of the seasons? And this can be very tedious, knowing that there will be at least 5 regions with over 20 side quests and also over 20 statues per region. And this becomes very repetitive in each of the seasons because they're fixed, they do not change with the locations. And of course, the response from the developers is they're considering a count-tied system, which allows those features to be carried over for each of the seasons. Which means that when the game launches, if we complete all the statues of Lilith and also complete the maximum Rhino for all the rewards, this can possibly be carried over to each of the seasons. Now this is not confirmed, but the developers are saying they are looking into this, and some of the systems will be carried over. So the highlight will be the Rhino and also the Arteth of Lilith, and this can be really good to save us a lot of time with each of the seasons. Now the next big highlight from the interview is about the secret cow level. And yes, the developers have confirmed this, there will be a cow level, a gritty grounded world. Winds or pets take away from the groundness and things will get loosened up. And as an example, we get to see the rainbow colored cow level in Diablo 3, and you have seen the cow level of the cows and also the cow king in Diablo 2. One interesting factor is this was discovered by the players and a lot of our viewers, is that our viewers were looking at the last Endgame official video from Diablo, and they noticed that in the inventory of display there is an ear. So we're not sure if this is like an equipment piece for the helmet, or maybe this is a special item for the cow level key. Now some players have said that this is actually coming from the rogue trailers. If you saw the rogue trailers, there is a lot of ears collected by the priest, right? So we're not sure if this is like a secret key. Similar to the Diablo 2 and also 3, there will be secret keys that unlocks the cow level. And maybe in the display over here, this was one of the keys for the cow level. Now because the cow level is confirmed by the developers, this also means that we can expect the cow level at the launch of the game. And once we have more information of the cow level, I'll definitely make a guide for you guys how to get in there and how to farm for different items and also special items. I believe there was a rainbow sword in Diablo 3 with a cow level, and that was really nice for the transformation and also for the skins. Now over here we also have some questions and also answers about the leaderboard. Now the highlight for me over here for the leaderboard is that the leaderboard will come with season 1, and it's encouraged for the players to try speedrunning, and also there will be different features and also challenges during the leaderboard seasons. Now notice here the leaderboard will not be available at the start of the launch of the game, but the highlight over here from the interview is that there will be a level 100 boss that will be ready for the players at the launch of the game. And if you guys know the dungeons and also strongholds, sometimes they scale to the characters, sometimes the characters or the monsters will stay their own level, and this one will be ideally the hardest monster to take down. And we really wonder what level can the player take this boss down. These players can start challenging this boss maybe at level 50, 70, or even 80. As the higher level you go, the stronger you become. And maybe some players will go in like a whole claim, like a whole raid, or maybe you go solo. So, you have seen the solo world boss runs. So this will be the benchmark and also a lot of testing for players to test their strength and also builds at the launch of the game. And in a few weeks later, we have the seasons. And then we'll have the leaderboards for a lot more competition. So quite excited for the level 100 boss. And there is also a chance that we might see something like this in the particular cow level. Because usually cow levels have a special boss, and this could be quite interesting. And maybe we can be getting special loots if the boss was in the cow level as well. Now on the topic of special loots, we also have a big question about gambling. Now the developers have previously mentioned that the gambling may be some of the best ways to get the best items in Diablo 4. But this time the answer is actually a little different. Now the developers have mentioned there will be super rare unique items that is available in the game. And if you guys are wondering, those are likely going to be unlocked after World Tier 4. So the answer over here is, the developers are not sure exactly whether those items have been added to the gambling system. So at the moment, the gambling will provide you with different grade of items and different legendaries or even uniques. But the super rare uniques, they might not be in the gambling. So we'll be on the lookout for this, because once the gambling starts, we will be farming for obos and getting a lot of good items and also legendary aspects through gambling. Now I'm also working on special gambling guides and also Excels. If you haven't seen our previous gambling Excel, make sure you check the links above and also the links below. I have made a lot of gambling methods and also rates for you guys. So to help you guys use the best method of spending opals to get your legendary affixes and also getting your legendaries and uniques. Now we also have some additional notes on the claim activities, seasons, and also the cosmetics. Those are not too massive, so I just made a brief summary. The climb activities are set to be planned after the launch, so that we don't expect like a 4-man or 8-man raid right away at the launch of the game. The new seasons for Diablo 4 are set to be predictable with rotations, likely about 3 months each of the seasons. This will include unique loots in each of the seasons. The seasons are not monetized, which means you don't have to pay for each of the seasons, and the seasons will contain power-up boost, which allows a player who start the new season with new characters to have a faster leveling up process and also to experience the season without spending hours to level up, which is going to be really good. Of course, we can expect a wide range of cosmetics during the launch, and we'll be going into the cash shop of course to see which of the skins looks the best. Now as we keep going, we get to see some questions on the damage multipliers on different gears. So the summary over here for me is, overall, the damage multipliers for Diablo 4 will be reduced. And what is going to be the highlight is the set items that were set to be really good for the new players in Diablo 3, they will also come back in Diablo 4. But the developers are aware that the set item, although they're good for the new players, they do have a very big drawback in terms of creativity for the builds. Because if you're planning a build and all of a sudden you have 2 or 5 pieces of gear fixed, then you only have a few pieces of the gears left. So this really ruins the creativity of the players. So here they have stated that the set items will not be the biggest factor, and even if they do come back, they are aware the drawbacks. So likely the set items will be like maybe an early game item, maybe up to level 50 or even up to level 70. But likely after level 70, as you get more uniques and also legendary affixes, you will be replacing those items for better items. Now the next topic over here is actually really interesting. So one of the biggest highlights in most of the ARPG games, and especially Diablo, is the basic and also magic items do not really serve a purpose. For me in the game, those items are used to be, ignored, sold, or savaged. Sometimes I don't even touch those items, because in the endgames, you don't really need those items to fill up your inventory. But here the highlight from the interview and also the answers is that the developers are looking into ways to make those basic and also magical items in the endgame work. How will that work is, we know that there will be different grade of items after world level 3 and after world level 4, especially with ancestral grade items. So the developers are saying that they're looking into ways for players at the start of their endgame after level 70 or after level 50, if they pick up those basic or magic items, they can also be in the secret or the ancestral grade. And what that means is, players can then take those items, going to the Oculus for enchantment, or maybe going for the Jewelers for different rolling of the stats, and then you reroll on affixes to get what you wanted. And then you can craft this item into an entry-level legendary for the endgame. Now, because I'm really big onto crafting, I'll give you guys a small example. Let's say if we get a white or maybe a magical gloves, and this is in ancestral grade. And what you can do is, let's say if you reroll once, which is usually a little cheaper to reroll only once in the enchantment area with Oculist. So if you reroll into a skill level +4 on your core spell, and this can be massive. This can easily provide 20 or 30 or 40% increased damage to your existing spell, which is a core spell. And this can change a lot of builds. And then you craft an offensive or maybe a utility aspects on the gloves, and this will change a lot of the gameplay. So this is a really good concept to make basic and also magic items still work in the endgame, which, it's going to be really good after level 70. I will be looking for jackpot of a really good roll, and then we can look into crafting this at the start of the endgame. Of course, this won't be the ultimate endgame items. Ultimate endgame items will still be golden rare items, and also legendaries, and also unique items. Now, the developers have also mentioned that there will be improvements to the UIs of the game. And one of the highlights for me, if you see my review for Diablo 4 in the beta, is that don't make us scroll down to see the full description. If you notice some of the skills or even items, you have to scroll down to see the item description, because it was a little clunky, right? So it is very good to have UI improvements in the game, especially the text. Now, the next part is actually really good as well. So gem inventories is being considered by the developers. And I'm like, thank you. Now, if you guys are like me and tried the beta and found those gems in the bag a little annoying, it is a pity to not pick those up, but they take a lot of inventory space, and even in the stashes. So they have different grades, different type of gems. Before I know it, like a third of my bag is covered up in gems. So it's a really good option to have a gem inventory tab in the inventory, and this can save a lot of space. And finally, the developers were asked about the features of the endgame content for Diablo 4, and the answer is yes. And if you guys have seen our latest video, our last video, we talk about there will be a live stream for the endgame of Diablo 4 very soon on the 20th of April. So quite excited for this, and I want to see what's in the endgame, and then I'll be crafting a lot of builds and lots of guides for you guys to prepare for the launch. Now, before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.